Thank you for attending, everyone, today. We are excited to introduce Salespad for Dynamics GP. As you know, Endeavour Solutions was founded in 1989, and we specialize in servicing Microsoft Dynamics GP and CRM systems for clients throughout Canada. Our founders are Terry Sunderland and Bob O'Brien, with our main offices operating out of Mississauga and Halifax. Slide, Kelly.
Yep.
All right. Last year, we won the award for 2014 President's Club for Microsoft Dynamics for being one of the leading partners in the Microsoft Partner Network. That is due to our commitment to trying our best to keep our customers happy and working hard to help you achieve your goals and your challenges. Now, I would like to introduce Kelly from Salespad, who is going to be giving you an overview of the products and see if there's going to be some opportunities that you might be able to use this system within your GP system.
Excellent. Thank you, Suzanne. First, I do want to thank everyone for joining. I do also want to say that I will, I'm crossing my fingers, try to save some time at the end to answer some questions. But if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, if you could just send those to Suzanne on the chat box on the GoToMeeting window. If I can't get to them throughout the presentation, then I will respond to the answers later to get you the answers. I just have a lot of information to cover in a short period of time, so I want to make sure to get through it, and then we can take the time to answer the questions, towards the end. So, again, my name is Kelly. I handle the eastern half of Canada as well as a few of the states here at Salespad. So there's a couple different products that I'm going to introduce today. I'm going to give you a nice high-level overview of the function and features of a couple of these products. I did want to present our full product suite to show you all. Salespad, the main core, so to speak, or desktop product that we have is what I'll mostly be covering today. So I'll go into further detail about that in just a minute here. We do have a credit card processing piece called Card Control that does integrate back into Salespad as well as GP. So GP users, Salespad users, both are able to have access to credit card processing. There is the ability for GP-only users that for some reason maybe don't have a need for Salespad but do need credit card processing, could also utilize our Card Control product. Selection is our warehousing barcoding piece that, in the simplest terms, allows for an entry into the world of barcoding within your warehouse. And then we do have varying levels of functionality with that piece to go coincide with a warehouse management type of solution. So I'll be showing you a glimpse of that today. We do have an email add-in which allows for some additional CRM type of functionality within Salespad, so the ability to send emails from your Outlook calendar into Salespad, push tasks out to your Outlook calendar, etc. Salespad Mobile, I will be going over briefly as well for you today. This gives mobile access to GP, mobile access to Salespad, the ability to see customer information, inventory information, create orders, manage orders, things like that. Mobile boards is an additional mobile piece, obviously as the name describes, but this is more of a reporting piece that offers some dashboard type of reporting all within a mobile iOS or Android world. Additions is some additional functionality that is offered for the GP users. It allows for some of the Salespad-specific functionality, such as the robust search I'm about to show you, or the unlimited user-defined fields that I'll discuss. That allows for the GP users to have access to that information. So it's a companion window right inside of GP that allows for some of that. So, all right. So just to give you a quick introduction to Salespad, the core product that I'm going to be focusing most of my time on today. Why Salespad? Why are you sitting watching this presentation today? Why has maybe someone from Endeavour reached out and said you really have to take a look at Salespad? There are a few reasons. One, we know GP is a fabulous product. It is an absolutely top-of-the-line accounting product. But there are some places where, on a sales and customer service end, that we saw an opportunity to bring some ease of use into the picture with it. So Salespad allows for easier access to your customer information. It gives you easy sales document entry. It gives you the ability to have a workflow component to manage those documents electronically. And to give you an idea of where your money is at in the business. Is it all piling up in the warehouse on a picking packing scenario, or is it in various places? And I'll show you what that looks like. It also gives you easy access to inventory and giving you greater visibility into inventory on an order entry standpoint. Is this item in stock? If it's back ordered, when can we expect the next delivery? Things like that. It also gives you some easy purchasing functionality. Purchasing is something that I will not be going into today just for time's sake, but it's definitely something, if purchasing is on your radar, we can definitely revisit this at an individual demo scenario to go over that. So I am going to jump right into the product now and give you a nice quick overview of some of the highlights that Salespad has to offer. So just to give you a little bit of some context to what we're looking at, Salespad, this desktop piece, primarily would be used by your sales team, customer service, anyone who does order entry, like I mentioned before, some of the purchasing field, but really we're looking at those that manage the customer information and create and manage, your sales orders. And then again, like I said, a little bit of purchasing functionality. How Salespad connects with GP, how does it communicate? Salespad actually reads from and writes directly to the GP tables in a real-time integration. So anytime that your Salespad users makes an adjustment, change, adds something, your GP users can see it immediately. So you're playing with the same information. Everything's in the same sandbox for you, which really gives you, the ultimate usability, since you're not having to sit and wait for syncing information. So you don't know if the information that you're looking at is, up-to-date information. You will always be playing with up-to-date information with Salespad. So one of the first things that is really highlighted as helpful functionality from Salespad is the robust searching functionality. So allowing for things like, instead of needing to write out a customer's name, I'm sitting in a customer service department right now, and I just had a phone call, and the gentleman says his name is Frank. I can just search Frank and narrow down in the search categories that you see here. So it's searching in the customer name, it's searching contact name, email address, all of these different categories where Frank might be, a piece of the puzzle. Okay, so instead of having to look directly for that end user's name, I can kind of roundabout find my way there. So this is Frank, and he says right off that his salesperson happens to be Ian. So I start typing in this autofilter row, start typing in Ian's name, and it narrows down to these categories. So I know this has to be the University of Michigan or Frank from Aaron Fitz Electrical. So again, it's just allowing for different types of searching to get to that same end result. Obviously, you could always type in Aaron Fitz Electrical and get right to this customer, but this just allows for different ways to search. You have the ability to manage these grids as well, so you can move the columns around, based on the view that you're looking for. This is user-based, so two people sitting next to each other would have two completely different looking grids if they chose to. Salespad also offers unlimited user-defined fields, which allows for anything you could possibly ever want to know about your customer, your contacts, etc. If you want to know if your customers drive a Ferrari, if you capture that on a customer card somewhere, you can populate it in this grid. So it allows for a lot of information being brought to the surface. Okay. The other nice thing to show you, you can have multiple different customer cards open. So I can have as many as my heart's desire, but I can actually toggle back and forth. I will explain what this pop-up note means in just a second. I can toggle back and forth between different customers. I can have different documents open from different customers all at the same time, so I'm not having to drill down and drill back to get to that information. It's all right at my fingertips. So to mention, that pop-up note you saw when I opened this customer card is the same thing as the yellow sticky note that you see in your GP window, or if it has lines on it, there is a message. Salespad gives you the ability to have it populate as a pop-up note. So if there's any time-sensitive or urgent information that needs to be known about this customer, someone has to physically dismiss it in order to move forward. So chances are they're going to read that information. So I want to just give you a little bit of a background on what we're looking at here. Sometimes it can, the first time you see it, it might look a little bit busy, but there's a method to the madness here, and that method is to bring all of the information that you could possibly want to know about your customer to the surface. So you're not, again, having to drill down and drill back, drill down and drill back to find information. It's all right at your fingertips. Over to the left, you're able to see the customer property information, so the customer number, name, price level, etc. If you hover over the customer name, it also gives you a nice hover feature of a snapshot reporting of the sales summary for the previous few years. So you're not having to run a few different reports to get all this information. You simply just hover over the customer name and you can see it right here. In the middle is a place where you can grab some of those user-defined fields that I mentioned previously. If it's something that you want very accessible, right right on top when you go into a customer card, you can put it in this field. Otherwise, there is a place along the tabs for user fields as well to grab additional user fields. Over to the right is showing you a grid of all of the open sales documents for the customer. So if I have, maybe Frank called in and he has a question about an invoice that was sent in September. Let's pretend this is 2014 and not 2012, but you can narrow down by the type and start typing in the date, and it will narrow down to the invoice that maybe he's referring to. Then I can simply just open up that invoice and answer any questions that he may have. I can email him another copy. I could send it, print it, whatever that I need to do. So jumping back into the customer card here, I'm just going to go over a couple of these tabs along the bottom. Know that there are a lot of options of information that you can see here, just depending on your business process and practices. The first that I'm going to show you is the customer or contact addresses. This is actually a place where you can edit this information as well, so you don't have to jump back to GP to say, okay, well, the billing contact is no longer Bob Fitz, it's Tom Jones. You can actually change that right within Salespad. If I pull up and show you here. So you can change any of this information about your contacts. You can grab user fields down below for your contacts as well. You also can have some of this information turned off based on security. So if you don't want your users having access to change of this information, you could have it turned off with security. You can pretty much give rights to anything within Salespad. If it can't see it at all, you can see it but you can't edit it, or you have full editing capability. You can select user groups or individual users to dictate those security levels to. Just a couple other ones to show you. CRM gives you just a little bit of light CRM functionality, nothing to compete against dynamic CRM, but this is just a quick place to track a couple notes and maybe set a couple tasks if you choose to use it. I'm showing an error on my audio connection. Can someone confirm that you all can still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The AR tab, this is a nice snapshot into some of the AR information for this customer. So you can actually do some collection type of activity within Salespad by showing the different dates of when the last invoice came, last payment, etc. You can see the customer aging. You can see the balance. You can actually select the hyperlink to pull into all the documents that make up that balance. A newer feature that came, and I'm going to keep talking as I wait for this one a little bit because it does take just a second to populate. A newer feature is actually having the ability to populate a customer statement. So we've had a question quite a bit. Well, can you populate a customer statement and attach the invoices that are associated with it? From my understanding, it's not. Are you able to still see me, Suzanne? Because now it appears that I'm offline.
I can still see you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the customer statement here, it's showing based on the date range and the type of document that I was looking at in that previous window that I just selected. It allows to show things like credit limit, summarized date, the balance, and cutoff date, showing you the statement itself, the customer aging. But then it also attaches those invoices addresses that are associated with this statement. So this is a nice type of collection piece to give the information that you're looking for, or that the customer might be looking for when sending a customer statement. So this is just an example for you. Go ahead and close out. I'm going to go over 2 more tabs really quickly here. This item history tab, this is a very popular feature to grab some good information. This gives you the ability to search within a time frame and then a specific type of document. So I want to know how many times in the last year that I've invoiced this customer for a particular hard drive. So as I start typing in the HD20, it looks like these 2 times on 2 separate documents. Oh, of course I have return selected too. Yes?
Kelly, I guess the people are not seeing your screen anymore.
Okay, so I am disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and try to log back in because it does tell me that I'm offline. I don't know what happened, so give me just a second. Looks like I lost my internet connection. Awesome. Okay, give me 2 seconds and I will try to get back on for you, okay?
Sorry about this.
No, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
are you able to see my screen again?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for that. Please let me know if this happens again.
Okay.
Okay.
You're echoing now, Kelly.
All right, I'm going to mute. All right, is this better?
Yes.
Fabulous. Thank you. So sorry about that. I'm not sure what was missed, but I'm going to keep going forward, and if we need to jump back, let me know. But the item history here is allowing to show previous items that this customer has either been quoted, ordered, invoiced, or returned. So I showed the example before. I want to look at the hard drives in the past year that have been invoiced for this customer. And so if I type in HD in this autofilter row, it's going to narrow it down to show with the specific documents that I'm looking out for as well. And I actually apologize. I hit uncheck the returns. Now it's showing me the invoices. So similarly, sales documents. You have the same ability to search just in general different sales documents within a given period of time. For sake of time, I'm going to jump over some of these other tabs. Just know there's a lot of information that you can have access to on the customer card, and if there's any specific scenarios that we need to set up a one-on-one type of demo, then we definitely can do that. So I'm going to jump into creating an order. I simply just selected the order type, and it populated right up here for me, pulling over all the information that I might need. One thing I do want to show as an example really quick, as you can see, the shipping address is defaulted to Bob Fitz and the primary. So if I go back, I can see on the contact card that, this proved my point exactly. The primary address information. So the shipping address for this customer is listed as, I apologize, Tom Jones at 222 Warehouse Drive. I have this fast to ordering enabled. You don't have to enable it, but if this works for your business process, it's very helpful. As you notice that Bob Fitz is at 1 Microsoft Way was what this document showed as the shipping, is because I had it actually highlighted on the address card when I opened the order. So instead of it showing Tom Jones as the primary shipping address information, it for this order is just going to show that Bob Fitz at 1 Microsoft Way. So this is going to be if you have multiple different shipping locations for your customers, but maybe one is a primary shipping address, but they need it sent to their 3rd location or something like that. It's just a quick way to do that without having to go in and change the address once you're in the document. You can always do that, so if they don't tell you until the end, you can do that from the Addresses tab here and toggle down to the proper address, or you can free type a new address if it's something that they're at a trade show or something and want you to deliver it there. You can do that as well. So I'm going to show you, going to type in a couple line items here just to show you what it looks like. I'm simply just tabbing over when I'm going over to the different sections here to type the information. I'm hitting enter to populate that second line. Now, there's a situation where the customer says, oh, it's this hard drive, but I don't remember exactly what it was. And so, or your user that's entering the order says, oh, I can't remember the name of that hard drive, can't remember the item number. If you select the ellipsis right here, it's going to populate an inventory lookup screen. I'm going to maximize this so you can see all the information. From here, as you notice, I have HD labeled in here. Maybe I know that it's a something gig hard drive, but I only type in part of that part of that item description. It's going to populate anywhere where there's gig and drive in it. So you don't even need to know the complete item description to pull in the different options that you might have. Oh, yes, it looks like it's the HD20. That's what I was looking at. From here, you also have access to information on, based on location. You can look to see what you have on hand, allocated, back ordered, on order, available, et cetera. And you can also see the next expected receipt date. So if this is something that is back ordered from the location that you're ordering at, or just your main location, you can also see, well, it looks like we're going to, see a shipment later on this week. This should arrive by end of next week, whatever your timelines are for that. If you are working with multi-bin, you can also look at a bin level, this information. And then you do have quite a bit of information to view on the item itself. One thing that I do want to pull out is similar to what we saw in the item history on the customer card. This is the sales history for this particular item. So I can see all of the different sales documents, open and historical, within a given time period. And then I can also see the purchases that are associated with this item. There's a lot more information to show you here, but again, for time's sake, we're going to move on. So, and of course, I forgot to actually select the HD20. So once we put the HD20 in here, great. So we have 20, and now I'm going to add a back-ordered item and show you what that looks like. Immediately, I have my back-ordered items highlight red. So my user, and I can see right away, oh, A100 is back-ordered. You can actually see some of this information up here as well as you're typing it in. So I can look to see, yep, it looks like there are none available. If I toggle up to the next line item, the HD20s, I can see that there's 10,837 available. So I can even see some of this information right from the sales document itself. But as you can see, there's a big red flag saying this item is back ordered. Now, depending on how your processes work, you can do a few different things with this line. One, you can create a purchase order. Once I hit save, it's going to populate the ability to create a purchase order right from this line item. So right from here, I could create a purchase order for this back-ordered item. I could also attach this line to an existing purchase order by simply selecting this plugin and attaching it to, if there was an existing purchase order with it on here, they would be listed out right here, and I would just attach those. It depends on how much you want your order entry people working with your purchasing side of things. But there's a couple other things that can happen too. I'm going to go ahead and release this document, and it's going to show a couple different things. One, do I want to split this document, or does the customer want to hold everything until the entire order can be fulfilled? You can actually do either way. If you choose to hold the entire document, you simply just select Do Not Split, and it will not split the document. Otherwise, it will split the document. This portion right here should go to Ready to Pick unless there's some other hold or something like that for the document, if there's an AR hold or a margin hold that you've set up or something like that. Otherwise, it's going to go and be picked and fulfilled and shipped and on its merry way. Then this line item that is back ordered is going to be pulled into a back order queue waiting for that shipment to come in where it can then be allocated and then fulfilled. So once I select OK, I'm going to go ahead and have it split the document. The next prompt that's going to come up is actually something that can happen on the background that you don't have to even think about if you set up a process this way. So if every time you release your order, you want to email an order confirmation and print a picking ticket, these things can happen automatically in the background. I just have it populate so I can show you these options. I'm going to go ahead and hit close on here because we're not going to actually take those actions right now. As you can see, it has moved that original document of D6935 to history and has created a .1 and a .2, signifying the line items that we're ready to pick were sent to be picked, fulfilled, and sent. And the .2 is that backordered line item that's waiting to be able to be allocated. So that way, you can actually see in Related Documents tab here on the document, if I were to look in here, I could see that there's a .1 and a .2 associated with this document. So you can see all of the different appendages, so to speak, for the document. If there's a purchase order created off of it, I could see that in the related document. So it's a way to kind of tie all that information together so you're not having to chase down that information throughout the system. So instead of actually giving these two separate document numbers, it's doing that .1 and .2. So you know it's related to the same document. So I'm going to hit OK. That document is moving on in the workflow, which is what I'm going to show you next. One thing to mention about the documents itself, there are a lot of things that Salespad can do as far as different ways of order entering that I couldn't even go in to show you all of them. But there's like a matrix item entry. So if you're doing apparel that you need to quickly plug in, I need 12 red small shirts. I need 15 medium red shirts. There's different matrix entries like that. Pricing. Salespad offers pretty much every pricing option that you can imagine that could replace extended pricing, so you don't have to manage those lists all the time anymore. There's different group pricing and contract pricing and quantity breaks and aggregate pricing. There's a ton of different pricing options available. But what I wanted to show you here is an example of that workflow that we're looking at. The original document, when it began, was in a pending order status. These are documents that have not been sent forward to take any action. Once I released that document, that .1 went to ready to pick, all right, as it's waiting to be picked in the warehouse. And then that .2 piece went into this backorder queue. So as you can see, I have things listed out here where you have the ability to scrub against any credit holds on the customer. Then it can scrub to see, hey, do we have enough margin on this document? Whatever you want to set for margin thresholds on there. If there's a backordered item, it's going to put it right into this backorder queue. If that entire document was waiting to be fulfilled, it would have gone into this waiting for product queue. You're ready to pick. This is what's going to be picked in the warehouse right now. Once that warehouse has picked the item, you can put it in a shipping queue. Once it's shipped and you're invoiced, it can flip into this this shipped queue, which would be the complete queue. Please ignore this picking queue. There's something that I set in GP where I have a batch populating that I'm not sure how I did it, so I need to go back and uncheck it. But this picking queue doesn't really make sense. So shipped is where it would end on this side. This is just showing some of the congruency between GP and Salespad here. So, but there's a lot of different things you can do with this workflow based on the different scenario that you're looking at. I'm going to, again, I keep saying this for the sake of time, move on to our data collection piece. This is literally a tiny snapshot of what Salespad can do. There are a lot of different things that it can handle. Equipment management, it can do really just, anything in the distribution, kind of in the retail space we do a lot of. There's a counter sales option. So if you do have some of those counter sales type of opportunities, it can handle that as well. A lot of different features. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this real quick. Pull up this is a nice little emulation of our a Windows mobile device with data collection on it. So I have created a couple documents. I'm going to just show you the picking so I can get to our mobile piece a little bit. But once you see the picking, you get the idea of how most of these different pieces work. I'm going to select a document that I've already created to be picked because of the different ways that I have to set it up and different items that I want to show you on this side of it. Once I select the document, this could be something that you scan in with a barcode. If you print out the barcode on your documents, the picking documents, you could do that as well. It's going to auto-populate to that first line item. But if I go in and look, I actually have 3 line items on this document. So if I'm picking something different, I can either just scan it or I can select to say, okay, I'm going to pick the HD40s instead right now. From here, if you have multi-bin enabled, then you can actually select or scan the bin that you're picking it from. And then you can either scan the quantity or you can type in the quantity. But below, it's showing you the quantity ordered was 10, which means you have 10 to pick, and the total to pick is 10. So if I picked something different, if I picked 5, it's going to show to pick is 5 if I only partially picked this order. I go ahead and pick that line item, then it's going to populate back up to that first line item. Again, I can scan in that bin that I'm picking it from and either scan or type in the quantity. Now the next item is actually a serialized number. So again, you would scan the serial number and it would populate in here, but since I don't have the scanner enabled, I wrote down a serial number for it to apply to. And as I'm scanning, if I had multiple line items, I would simply just continue scanning serial numbers, and you would see the quantity increment up. So if I'm just, I don't know if this is going to work or not, since they don't have an actual number. Yeah, because I only have one to pick on the document. So if I were to scan in another serial number and it wasn't going to allow me to, it would give me that error saying, hey, they only ordered one. So again, I'm scanning the bin. If you don't have multi-bin, then this would just be grayed out, so you wouldn't have to select anything. From here, I select Submit, or with the scanner, you don't always have to select Submit every single time. There's a setting on that scanner where it will just automatically let you go through the document. But now it's allowing me to say that it's fully picked. So the same type of functionality where you can scan in the different fields and things like that are in all of these different windows. You have the ability to do picking. You can select, do packing. So you can select packages that these items are being picked to. So if you have, kind of a staging area in your warehouse, and you do, like, you pick a bunch of documents, bring it to the staging area, then you select it in different boxes or packages. You get to do that with this packing option here. The shipping option here is just a confirmation scan. So just to make sure you pick the items from the document that you're supposed to. You can do stock counts in here. You would still set up the stock count within GP, but then actually scan them with the barcode scanner. You could do returns as well. Receiving. Receiving works very similar. You can do a confirm of receipt. Site transfers, bin transfers, and inventory adjustments are all things that you can do with data collection and the barcode scanning piece. All right, so again, this is just showing you a tip of the iceberg of what's available for data collection. I now want to show you what the mobile app looks like. And all right, this is actually something that if you have an Android or iOS device, even if you have a BlackBerry, there's an app that Chad from Endeavour knows. I don't know the name of it, but that allows you to access the Google Play or Android type of apps on your BlackBerry. So if you want to reach out to Steve at the end to get the name of that app. Otherwise, if you go to wherever you get your apps from, whether it's Google Play or the Apple Store, you can download Salespad Mobile and use the Try the Demo feature. Right now, it's actually what I'm going to be demoing from, is Try the Demo. So Salespad Mobile gives, obviously not all of the functionality that the desktop version has, but it gives quite a bit of functionality for like a mobile sales force, doing some, route sales, selling off of a truck type of scenario, if you have reps that go to trade shows or, anything where someone needs that mobile access. The app itself gives you the ability to access customer information, your contact information, inventory, sales documents, and then the sales monitor. This is something that can be used with or without the desktop version. So if you're a GP-only user that wants mobile access, you just wouldn't have the ability to see the sales monitor. That's a Salespad-only feature. But I'm just going to quickly go in and show some things here. So if I'm selecting a customer, Aaron Fitz, electrical, again, we'll use Aaron Fitz, you have the ability to see different information and take a few different actions. I can create a document right from here. I can view any documents that have been created under Aaron Fitz Electrical, so I can actually go in and say, I need some information on this invoice right here. I can go into the invoice and see that there's one line item and the cost associated with it. I'm going to go back here. Whoops, didn't mean to go that far back. There are some, light CRM type of functionality in here where you can just simply add, a note associated with the customer. Hey, I stopped in, sent the order, whatever type of information you want to show. You do have a little snapshot into the AR as well. There's also, you can see your customer contacts in here. Now, if I was connected on a phone, I could actually call right from here. Or if you have the email listed in here, you can email directly from here within your phone or iPad. I'm demoing from an iPad. So, and then the notes, this is the same notes that you have in GP, that yellow sticky note. There's also year-to-date reporting that's available that I just don't have the ability to demo. Just because of the demo database we're using, it doesn't have the right information. It wouldn't really show anything for you. So, but from here, I'm just going to show you real quick how to create an order. We're just going to create a standard order. From here, you can change any of this information. See, as a drop-down, I can change the payment terms. You can have this turned off with security, too, so that way the sales rep can't change the payment terms if you don't want them to. I'm just going to save this, say, looks good. There's a couple different ways that you can add items on an order in the mobile. That makes it very cool. First, I want to point out, if you see these gears, that means you can open up to an edit. So I can open in and edit the ship to address from here. Adding an item, I can go one at a time. I can search by selecting this gear. It will actually search HD in here. I can search hard drive. I can search gig and drive. So I'm going to place this HD20 on the order. Accept that. And it lands itself right here. You have the ability to select multiple items. And this serves as kind of a catalog because you can have pictures associated with it. So from here, I can simply just select a few different items, and all of these will be placed on the order. The other option is I can look at recently ordered items from this customer. And again, we don't have all of the pictures for all the items in here, but you can see a couple of them. This also works as a bit of a catalog too. So if you're on site with a customer, you can say, well, it looks like, previously you've ordered these items. You want to reorder any of these items? Yes, great. We're going to select these numbers. You can also free type a quantity as well. So if you're, ordering a higher quantity, you don't want to select the plus button 50 times, you can do that. But adding the items is going to place those items right on the order. You also can select default items. This is something that you can do in Salespad Desktop too, where it automatically places. So if you have a customer that orders the same items over and over and over again at this, in this case, the same quantity, et cetera, then it's simple. I just want to order what we ordered, what our typical order is. Great, and really quick to enter that order. You can actually grab payments on this order too. Once I hit the type that we're going to be looking at, cash, check, credit card. Again, you would need card control in order to do the credit card payments if you were doing payments, like actually swiping the card at that time. Otherwise, if you're using a different processor and you're processing the card that way, you can still enter the credit card payment that had been applied. It just is a little bit more manual. So we're just, for the sake of simplicity, going to put cash in here. It's going to populate the document total to show you, obviously if you're going to grab the entire total, then you don't have to plug in $39,847.12. If you do need to change it, you can use the plus or minus or the free typing. Once I hit save, we're going to grab that. It's showing you successfully saved payment. So we're going to save that. Now the order's been saved. I'm actually going to go back and show you some of the inventory lookup. So if I'm looking at hard drives, immediately, and I should have pointed this out before when we were doing the search for hard drives within the document, you can see the quantity on hand that you have over on the right column here. Now, if we dive into this item itself, we can see more information associated with it. So we can see the list price, current cost, standard cost, allocated, available, expected receipt. You can see it broken down by warehouse. If this is associated with multiple warehouses, you could see that, the different warehouses, the purchase orders. You know what? I have a different item that has more information. It's just not one I normally use on a demo, so I forget when I'm doing the mobile demo to pick the one that has the demo information for you. So purchases, you can see the purchase orders associated with it, the quantity on each. The date over here is going to show you the next expected receipt date. You can look at the sales documents that are associated with it and create notes, etc. So you can access contacts. You can search from here. You can search specific sales documents from here and pull into that information, but it just gives you an idea of some of the things you can do on that mobile app. As promised, I saved time for questions. Sure, there's many questions if they want to be asked now, or if they have been asked, that might be a different story. But does anyone have any questions that I can address?
There is a question
now.
Kelly? Yes. Can Salespad generate multiple orders at the same time of entry for multiple site split orders?
Okay, I need a little bit of clarification exactly on what that's asking.
All right, I'm going to unmute Laura.
Okay.
All right, Laura, would you mind asking Kelly?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is Laura. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Not bad. So we enter order for multiple sites, and currently we're manually splitting them. So we delete the line from the initial order and re-enter the order, and we want to automate this process.
So a customer is ordering for, they have 3 different locations, and you want to do that all within the same document. Is that correct?
No, actually shipping to the same location, but from 3 warehouses.
From, internally 3
Internally,
warehouses.
yes.
Gotcha. Now I understand what you're asking.
So say we have item A.
Sure that
Yeah.
just, whoops, I picked the wrong thing. I do believe, hold on here. It's populating in the wrong window. I apologize. It's a hazard of having 2 screens here. Basically what would happen is, and I'm looking for the right category, if it's warehouse or if it's location. How I'm suspecting that we would handle this is that there would be a category for location or warehouse, and then it would split the document, but it would be a .1, .2, .3 kind of scenario. So it's attached to that same document, but then you would just put the location. Perfect. I don't know why this is acting funny. We would add this location. I think I got it from, sorry about this. Bear with me here. This is doing something, and I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. This is interesting. This is doing something strange. Basically, we would pull in a location. You could designate the location that it is coming from, and it would, really what would happen, I mean, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could split the document so that way, you know, the pick ticket is only going to show the documents based on the warehouse that it's sending it to, or, you know, it could be a scenario where you print, that just depends on how you want to handle it on the back end of how they view that pick ticket, but I'm 99% positive that we can do that. I will double check and send that answer over, though, just to make sure I know exactly how we would handle that for you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
All right, are there any more questions? All right, well, if you want to maybe pass it over to Steve, he is on the line now.
Oh, perfect. Okay. let me pull up. Back on current slide. Okay. Do I need to pass over presenter to Steve, or is he just going to talk from here?
Well, first of all, thanks everybody for being late. My name is Steve Ewing. I head up kind of the sales and marketing at Endeavour Solutions. Just wanted to thank Kelly for not only taking the time today to kind of share what Salespad is offering. I will say they are one of our de facto partners in relation to managing some of our, not only our current implementations that we have with a number of projects, but also in working with some of our clients that we've worked with over our past 26 years. So in doing so, as you'll see on the slide there, this presentation was obviously not geared specific to any one organization, and we really took demo data. So what Kelly and the Salespad team are offering is to attend a more personalized demo, and just for actually attending that and having your team participate, there'll be an opportunity to win a $50 Visa gift certificate supplied by the Salespad team. So in knowing what Salespad has done and some of the implementations we're working on, I think would be more than a worthwhile venture. And with that, I don't know if there's any more questions, Kelly or Suzanne?
There's one more question, and it says, does the CRM sync from MS Outlook's GAL?
MS Outlook GAL. I'm not sure what they're referring to GAL.
Might be GL.
GAL. Okay, I'm going to unmute Brad and okay, can clarify a little better. All right, Brad.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, the CRM portion of Salespad, does it sync to Microsoft's global address list? Where do the contacts come from?
The contacts are coming from your GP table. So
okay.
if the contacts are located within your GP database, then it's populated within Salespad.
Okay, and is there any integration towards Outlook for that, so we have one centralized contacts?
That's typically something, if you have an integration to GP to do that, then Salespad would pick it up. A lot of the integrations like that would be handled on the GP end, and Salespad would then in turn, since it's playing in the same database, would see the information.
Okay,
usually it's easier to integrate it with GP itself.
Okay. One more question that we have. We noticed that some of this was pretty sluggish when things are populating and opening windows. Is that normal, or is that the WebEx or whatever causing that?
I will be completely honest. Part of it is with the GoToMeeting. The other part is my extremely sluggish Wi-Fi connection today, and I apologize for that. Typically, no. Some of the things like generating the customer statement, that one does take a couple seconds to generate the report on, just because it is looking over for quite a bit of information. But typically, no. And a lot of the screens, like when I entered an order for the first time, that first time you log in and you open an order and you create an order, that's the first time it's dialing into the database, so it can take a couple extra seconds than it would normally. So upon creating a second document, it would have been a lot quicker.
Okay.
All right. Great. Okay. Any other questions?
Great. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks Suzanne for organizing. Thanks Kelly for the great presentation. And most importantly, thanks to our clients and future clients for participating in the webinar. And as you'll see on the last slide, if there's any questions, by all means, please drop us a line or call us, and we'll be glad to help out. And we look forward to everyone having a prosperous 2015. All the best, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.